Hey everyone, I'm Mr. Roboto, back again with another quick trade review. So today's topic, I'm going to be talking about some swings that I've taken recently that ended up being some big wins for me. The trades were GE calls that I took and then AMAT calls that I also took. So I want to talk briefly about what I look for in swings, and how I identified these trades and how I and why I took these trades. All right, so let's dive right in. So GE, really good trade for me. I ended up taking a position in these actually just yesterday, so this was pretty nice here. I ended up taking accumulated some shares right around here on this low yesterday, and then I bought some more right around here. And then this is what happened. It ended up popping off in the evening. The next day in pre-market, and I ended up selling a lot of my position right around here at market open, and then I accumulated some more shares here, and then I sold them around this pop, and then I held a good portion of my position, and then down to here, and my stop was low of day, but I was so green on this trade that I was like, let's hold it just a little bit longer. But then on this knife down, I ended up just selling the rest of my position. Still very good trade. My best scales were right here around 100, 150%. Is great trade. All right, but that's enough about that. What did I see in this trade, and why did I take this position yesterday? Well, for the most part, you got to really zoom out, especially if you're looking to take swings, right? The longer you're looking to hold your swing, probably the longer you need to, or the larger the time frame that you need to be taking a look at. So for me, this is the daily. You can see that GE has essentially been consolidating, in this sort of range, like right around here, for the greater part of all of this year, right? So for this entire range, GE has essentially been trading in this very tight range. So whenever I see a tight range like this, I'm looking for a range breakout, either to the upside or to the downside. And then for me, I liked it a lot more to the upside, mainly because you have this volume profile here. So this is what I look for. I look for a very long volume profile. So this sort of acts like a launch pad that brings the price up. And the reason why is because you got to think about, who is in this market, where are all the different players at, right? So when a lot of the actual people who are in GE are all consolidated within a tight range, and then the overhead, the people who have bought up here and who are underwater, the less that you have of these people, the more likely that when the price does move up, you're going to have less people to actually sell into the move, right? So there's a bigger chance for a potential breakout, right? So this is what I look for. I look for a very long launch pad, or like a very long volume profile. And then I want a very thin overhead, right? So that means there's less sellers, more likely a bigger chance that your move is actually going to continue and actually break out. So that's exactly it. It looks even better on the weekly, right? So if you look at the weekly, this launch pad is even longer, and there's even less people to sell into up here, right? So this looks very good for me. I just had really lucky timing with buying my shares yesterday, and then seeing this sort of move on it today. I am looking to get back into GE eventually. If it comes back down here and it consolidates in the upper range, I would love to get back into GE. Yeah. So, and then the other trade that I took was AMAT. This is actually an even better trade for me that I took recently. I think this was last week when I had shares in AMAT. But it's the same thing, So you see this volume profile here, right? A very long volume profile. This is even longer. This is better, but this is like all the way last year. But this is what I look for. I look for a very long volume shelf. I look for the people in this market to accumulate right around this area, right? And look at this. There's no overhead up here, right? So there's no one to sell into a move if AMAT does choose to break out. So if there's no one to sell, the chance that the price can just keep rising is very, very likely, right? So yeah, on the weekly, this looks really good. So when I accumulated shares in AMAT, it was right around this day, right around here is when I started accumulating contracts, and then I sold it off um, late last week and then early this week. Um, Again, same thing. I'd like to get back into AMAT. If it comes back down, retests this like prior high, I think that'd be a great entry to take this back up. All right, so that's very quick video. Just wanted to talk about a couple of swings that ended up being very good for me. Yeah, and that's it. So if you want to know more about these sort of swings and then what I look for, I do announce a lot of these trades in my private Discord and in my supply and demand zones course that I'm putting together. There's a whole swing section that's going to be created that's going to have, it's going to dive into deeper detail these sort of trades, and again, what I'm looking for from a supply and demand perspective as well as a volume profile perspective. You can go ahead and pre-order this now. There's still a couple of slots available for pre-ordering. Yeah, if you're interested in that, supplyanddemandzones.com. And otherwise, hey, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you again next time.